podcast party. Descent into Avernus. As we begin our adventure, we see the moon. Enormous and gibbous, it gleams with a silvery light that just barely penetrates the thick fog that surrounds it. The camera floats down through this heavy fog to reveal a harbor. Dozens of boats, some small, some enormous, gliding through these dark waters as the camera continues its trek. It floats past the creaky wooden docks through to the shore of the nearby city. Squat, dark houses with dimly lit windows fill the view, one after another, jammed tightly together like overburdened servants. Darkly clothed people wander through the misty streets, finding their way to and fro, making their meager livings as they can. The camera pans to the east, and the houses and streets seem to increase in size and volume, as does the number of people. The camera slows to a halt on a veritable mob of people, all converging on a massive iron gate, fashioned with carvings of fierce, scaled creatures perched atop its battlements. Known as the Basilisk Gate, it wards the city's eastern wall through to the outer city slums and down to the massive bridge known as Worm's Crossing and distant realms beyond. A line of soldiers, all with armor emblazoned with an insignia of a fist set aflame, stands firm at this gate, despite the staggering number of commoners screaming, pleading to be let out of the city. And within this throng, the camera settles upon 4 individuals, all attempting to make their way through them, all the while surrounded by the maddening screams of the citizens. The direction of these 4, however, is not to the outside gate. They move slowly, surely back within the confines of this metropolis, as the mob seems to question why they would do such a thing, considering what has just occurred. The 4 compatriots look grimly at one another, then back at one of the soldiers at the gate, a tall man with long black hair and a leather eye patch. He nods grimly at them, and the team of 4 respond with a weak salute, turning and disappearing into the misty night of the city known as Baldur's Gate. Title card: 1 hour ago. Hylan, what do people see when they look at your character?
Hylan is about 5'5". She has light silvery gray hair that she's had all her life. She has an interesting look where she can look very striking sometimes, and then at other times really rather plain, and she can blend right in. As long as her eyes are obscured, her eyes are golden. This ability to sort of blend in has helped her infiltrate groups when she needs to. She wears a plain, well-worn, dark, plum-colored hooded cloak, a dark gray tunic and pants, and plain dark brown leather armor and boots. Her scuffed bracers are stamped with a small dragon's head.
Cool. Ofelia, what do people see when they look at you?
When people see Ofelia, they see a 6-foot-tall half-elf. Her pointy ears poke out from her long dark hair, which she keeps tied back with a simple ribbon. She wears a long navy blue cloak, and she has a violin strapped to her back at all times unless she's playing it, as well as a rapier in her hilt. She has big, very deep dark brown eyes, quite pale skin, and as she looks at you, it quite often looks as if she's perhaps looking slightly past you rather than directly at you. Often people feel a bit uneasy when they speak to her if they don't know her well.
Corbin, what do people see when they look at you?
They see a tall, almost 7 feet, lanky bugbear who walks kind of hunched over as if he's trying to hide his height. He's got piercing blue eyes, which are odd, almost supernatural in a way. He has mousy brown-gray hair and a beard and gray skin. He wears a heavy traveler's cloak, again, to hide himself as much as he can. But under that, he wears white vestments, and under the vestments, he wears armor. He carries a shield that has the symbol of two white hands crossed at the wrists, their palms facing out, and his wrists are bound, not together, but separately, with red ties. The most striking thing you notice when you look at Corbin is both of his palms are tattooed white.
And Renascence, what do people see when they look at you?
Renascence is a man with red skin and crimson hair. His yellow eyes with no visible pupils or irises. He's powerfully built, broad-shouldered. You would almost say hulking, well over 6 feet tall. Nothing he owns or wears looks new. He has a battered suit of chainmail, probably issued to some soldier in some foreign army and bought secondhand in a shop in Baldur's Gate, as is his notched and battered longsword, which dangles from his hip. These things are well maintained, but have obviously seen hard use.
Awesome. The incident itself, so you don't really want to talk about it, but it is the one thing that binds the four of you together as the four of you sit in this tavern, this bar, essentially, in the middle of Baldur's Gate. Let's talk about Baldur's Gate for a second. Baldur's Gate is a city, for all intents and purposes, but it is, for most people who live in it or who visit it, a veritable hive of scum and villainy, shall we say. It's clinging to the rocky slopes overlooking the Chionthar River, and it is really run by the local nobles, which are known as patriarchs, who gaze down with a certain amount of veiled contempt about the common rabble, which you guys are certainly a part of. The whole of Baldur's Gate, you would say, reeks of blood, crime, and, to some degree, opportunity. In a way, it's kind of like the Gotham City of the D&D world. One could easily fathom why pirates and raiders, for example, who are commonplace within Baldur's Gate, are drawn to this place like flies to a carcass, of which you see several in this bar at this time. You see them, you're not quite sure as to what business they have in this place, but the four of you are all sitting at the table, each one of you nursing your drink of choice, when a barmaid sidles up to your table and looks at Renascence and says, "Hello, dearie. Any more for you and your friends?"
4 ales, strong, love. Cheers.
Right, she looks sort of nervously about and she says, "So, I haven't seen you before in this, our lovely establishment. You, new?"
You ain't seen us before, and you ain't seen us now, love. We're not here for conversation.
Oh.
4 ales, strong, and a whiskey.
Right, sure. And she saunters back behind the bar and speaks to the bartender, who looks nervously at your table and then begins to pour 4 mugs of ale.
Corbin has his back to the crowd, or however many people are here. Is there anyone else from the church here?
You can make a perception check if you'd like.
Oh, here we go. First roll.
First roll of the game.
That'll be a 22.
You look around, taking your time to scan the entire crowd. You certainly don't see anybody in this particular place that you recognize of being of your church, or, for that matter, any other church, if they are wearing church garments. Anyway.
Right, okay.
Do any of the patrons seem to be staring at us in a way that seems, I'm sure we usually get some stares, but in a way that seems particularly intense and causes us concern?
I would go ahead and say, since you're scanning many people at once for their particular reactions, Hylan, I'm going to say make an insight check, but make it a disadvantage because you're looking at multiple people at once.
Okay, that's a 6.
Okay. You take time to look around, faces you don't recognize, and upon seeing your golden eyes, they seem to sort of instinctively recoil from your gaze. But you don't see anyone who seems to, at least in your mind, be looking at you in any way that seems untoward.
That's a relief.
Corbin doesn't really know Hylan very well. He knows the other two, so he's looking at her suspiciously, and he's going to look at Ren and say, "Why is she involved?"
She got rid of it for us, so she's one of us now.
Can she keep a secret?
Well, she has ears and a voice, so you could ask her.
Oh, right. Sorry. Can you keep a secret?
If it's worth keeping, yes.
Is she telling me the truth?
Make an insight check.
21.
Well, Hylan, are you?
I'm telling the truth, yes.
Listen, Corbin. It's all four of our necks in the noose together now. So we just keep our lips tight and our eyes open, and it's all going to be fine.
I know. Sorry.
I understand you're all a little nervous. It's been a big night for everyone, but I'm a professional, and you can believe me when I say it's going to be clear sailing from here.
Ophelia's been very quiet this whole time. She's just been staring at her hands, mostly. Eventually she pipes up. She says, I thought it would feel better than this. I don't know if this is what he would have wanted.
Barmaid, shake a leg.
Oh, yes, sir, of course. Coming. She walks swiftly over to your table.
Ophelia takes the ale and just downs it.
Hold on, love. What's the rush? Take it easy.
I'm just a little thirsty tonight.
Oh, dearie, I understand. It's the news, isn't it?
The news?
What news is that?
Oh, my goodness, you haven't heard the news? About Elturel. Now, you guys know that Elturel is the capital city of the Holy Land of Elturgard. And Elturgard is about a few days' travel to the east, or at least that was the case until a few days ago, as the barmaid explains. She says, the flood of refugees. You obviously haven't seen them?
We've been busy.
Gosh. Well, they're all coming in through the Basilisk Gate. It's gotten worse since the news arrived. Elturel's just gone. Some are saying it was one of those, I can't pronounce it right, a Tarask? One of those giant monsters from legend. I've never actually seen one. My kids have one in their little book of monsters. I don't really think it's real, but...
What do you mean it's gone? How can a city be gone?
I don't know. Some of the refugees I've been speaking to, the Elder Guardians, they say it was that orb that shined over their city, or...
The companion, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The companion, that magical golden orb that shines sunlight for as far as daylight would allow. They say something went wrong with it. It turned black as sackcloth. After such a long time, providing never-ending sunlight and warmth. Only something truly evil could have done this, don't you think?
What did they say happened? What caused it?
I don't know. They say the companion turned black, and then everything just turned awful. It just vanished. The whole city vanished into the ground.
In my head, I say, Molitiam, what has happened?
In your mind, Hylan, there is a strange silence that you have not experienced when speaking to Molitiam, and this worries you.
Do we know what she's doing?
I don't think so. One, because this is a form of communication that only Hylan can do. Maybe I'm wrong. Hylan, have you ever talked to the others about Molitiam?
No.
Then I think there's your answer.
Did she say that out loud?
No?
No, I said it in my head.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. I have told Renascence. He's the only one who knows.
There you go.
We've got to go there and help these people.
The barmaid looks at you when you say that, Corbin, and she says, oh gosh, yes, I mean, my sister says that if Elturgard can go, then Baldur's Gate, well, we're next.
Sounds like a mystery that needs investigating. And Corbin, we was just saying as might be time for us to take a little vacation from Baldur's Gate anyway.
Hylan gets up and says, I just need a little air. Don't worry about me, and I'll leave for a little bit.
As you walk to the door opens with a whoosh, and a gust of wind pushes into the tavern. And standing in the door frame is a man in dark leathers and a hooded cloak. and you are pretty much face to face with him. He looks to be about 30 to 35 years old. He's got stubble on his chin, a sort of haunted look in his eyes, and sort of looks at you up and down.
Can I help you?
He looks around the tavern, scanning it quickly, and he takes from his satchel, which he has on his back, a scroll tube, and holds it aloft and says, I'm looking for Corbin Shin. Sorry. I'm looking for Corbin Shiv, Ofelia Liadon, Hylan Nemo, and he stops for a second and says, Renas.
I say, keep your heads down. Don't say nothing.
Renascence.
I stare directly into my ale.
I just kind of roll my eyes dismissively and continue walking out.
I hunch and try to make myself even smaller than my gigantic frame is.
Okay. You sidle past this person at the doorway, and he again calls out and he says, Does anyone answer to these names? Corbin Shiv, Ofelia Liadon, I might be mispronouncing them rather badly, Hylan Nemo, and Renaissance.
Who's asking?
He straightens up and walks over to your table.
Ofelia grabs the whiskey that Renaissance had ordered and begins to drink it.
Okay. He comes over to your table, removes his hood, and he has sort of long silver hair, and as his hood is removed, you see that his ears are pointed. And he says, Once again, I must ask you, almost in a sort of more unsure fashion, do you answer to any of these names?
I lean forward so that the light from the tavern's fire can pick up my horns a little bit, and I say, if you've a message for him, you can leave it with us. We'll be sure to pass it on if we see him.
He smirks a little bit.
Hylan has made it outside. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, she's made it outside. She's going to take out her dagger and she's going to give her forearm a little slice so that it draws blood and stagger back in. And she's just going to say, Somebody help me. They ran away. There's 3 of them. And I'm just going to try to create a diversion.
Make a deception check.
It's a 22.
People stand up from their tables. The barmaid gasps and drops her tray. The bartender sort of runs into the back room, clearly not wanting to have any part of any kind of violence at all. You guys can roll insight checks if you want to believe her story or not.
My eyes flicker to Ofelia and then to the scroll that the elf is holding. And then I lean back in my chair and I would like to cast Thaumaturgy out into the street behind Hylan. And a minute later, there's the sound of maybe like a mob of people indistinctly yelling at each other out in the street behind Hylan. Can't quite make out the words, but they sound angry.
Corbin is going to go to her because thinks she's hurt. So he's just going to get up. He can shove this guy out of the way who's trying to bring the message and go to her. Okay.
The elf turns to you, Hylan, and sort of looks a little confused between you and Renascence and says, I'm just here to deliver a...
Do something useful and go get the flaming fist.
Yeah.
I look at Ofelia again and look at the scroll again.
Yeah, I want to try to do a sleight of hand check to see if I can pluck the scroll out of his pocket.
Go for it. It's in his hand, actually.
Well, I'll still try to grab it. Perhaps it's going to be a tougher...
Sure.
Can we give her advantage by the distractions that we're trying on this guy, basically?
Yeah, I would say because of the distractions, you guys have advantage.
Ofelia reaches over, tries to snatch the scroll from his hand. And I have rolled a 20, non-natural.
Yeah, absolutely. You are able to grab it swiftly. He almost doesn't notice that it's gone as he runs into the street, and you just hear his voice, God, City Watch, fists, anyone? And you hear his voice just trail into the street.
She slips the scroll into the pocket of her cloak, discreetly.
I'm going to say to Corbin pretty loudly, Oh, thank God. You're a healer? I need to lay down. Just come with me.
All right. Corbin goes with her.
A quick word about who the Flaming Fist are, actually. The Patriarchs, who are, again, the rulers of Baldur's Gate, pay a mercenary army called the Flaming Fist to protect their interests in the city itself. And the Flaming Fist has actually gained even more power since their somewhat charismatic leader, Ulder Ravengard, claimed the title of Grand Duke a few years ago. And now apparently Duke Ravengard, who recently journeyed to El Terrell on a mission of diplomacy, is missing.
Matt, did you say that the staff had run into the back?
I said that the bartender ran into the back.
Okay. I walk up to the bar. Are there any bottles of wine here that have been left unattended?
I would say sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to scoop one of those up.
Okay.
I'm looking for another exit besides the front door.
Make a perception check.
A 9.
You look around quickly. I mean, there's the windows, but they're sealed. The rabble within are starting to sort of look in the same way that you are. Essentially, maybe they don't want to be caught in this place. Who knows what kind of deeds they've done. A couple of them just sort of push past you and go running out the front door like, fuck this place, we gotta get out of here. Yeah, let's get back to the hard hat. And then a couple of them literally just slink under their tables and cover themselves with their coats.
I say, right, garbage goes out the back, and I'm betting we can get out that way too. I'd like to try to go through the door behind the bar where I saw the barman disappear, and I gesture for everybody to follow me.
Yeah, Ofelia gets up and follows Renascence, walking quickly but not running.
Okay.
Just like you tell the stage crew to do. Because if you run, people think something's wrong.
How about the other two?
I think we're going to go out the front.
Yeah, we're just going out the front, and I'm gonna play it like I'm in pain. And
seeing them start to head for the front door, I Hylan.
I'm listening, but I don't look at him.
I say, back door. It's gonna get busy out there.
Okay.
Do I hear that?
I'd say so. Yeah, you're right next door.
Maybe you should lay down in back. Come on.
Oh, all right.
Not in the crowd. You're hurt. She's hurt. Let her through. Let her through.
Oh.
and Corbin kind of muscles his way through.
Hylan, with that sort of whimper, I'm going to ask you to make a performance check.
Sure.
Disadvantage.
No. Actually, you know what?
It's a 19.
All right, there we go. Obviously, a very convincing whimper. Yeah. People are like, the lady's obviously hurt. Quick, make some room. Give us some air.
Okay, I'm trying to push through into the back room to see if there's maybe a service exit or something like that.
Okay, the barmaid looks at you as you run into the back. She says, Dearie, no, what are you doing? That's for stuff.
You've been great. We had a wonderful evening. This is for you. And I flip her a silver coin.
She tries to catch it in midair, fumbles it immensely, and just it falls to the floor. She says, shit! And she tries to grab it before other members of the staff grab the same.
Ofelia scoots around her. Again, just a quick little hop and a step over and around to the back. Again, trying to sort of keep a clear path for Hylan and Corbin to come through.
Okay. Hylan and Corbin, you guys are still at the front, though, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to muscle our way to the back, though.
Okay. Got it. There is a veritable sort of parting of the Red Sea as Corbin, you take Hylan by the hand with the sort of back of the hand to her forehead as Hylan, she's just sort of dramatically moving to the back. And all of the miscreants and ruffians that you would probably see in the worst parts of the city, seeing Hylan just feel immense sympathy and make a virtual tunnel for you guys to pass through to the back.
Yeah, as we go by, I'm just going to say faintly, like, if Timon comes, tell him that Leandra will be just fine, not to worry.
One of the guards that goes, Timon? Who the hell's Timon? I don't know. She's probably someone she likes. Yeah, absolutely. Timon, Leandy. I don't know. She said something. Fuck it. I don't remember.
I put my hand on Hylan's shoulder if she's close enough, and I say, you're a genius. Let's get going. Hi, everybody. Sorry to interrupt. The show will be back in just a minute for the second half. We hope you're enjoying Podcast Party, Descent into Avernus. This is our first ever actual play podcast from Cast Party.
We're a group of D&D fans who also happen to be professional actors, directors, artists, producers, and friends. We're also professional dungeon masters, and we're available to hire for special occasions, parties, corporate team building events, or anytime you need an adventure. Right now, we're running online games only. When we can, we host site-specific live D&D adventure experiences at locations in and around New York City. Check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND, Twitter at CastParty2, and Instagram at cast_party. On our website, you can also find original artwork of our characters, and we're posting maps, pics, and other background material to give you some visuals to go along with the story. This episode features Matt Gordon as the DM, with Andy Cannistra as Corbin, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, and me, Tal Aviezer, as Renascence. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox, and our theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. The sound of the ship's bell at the start of the episode was made by Mike Koenig. If you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please subscribe to the show, rate us, leave us a review. We're doing this as a labor of love, and it really helps us a lot. Thanks very much for listening, and now back to our adventure in Baldur's Gate.
Wait, she's not really hurt?
Don't worry, Corbin.
Oh, that was really good acting.
As they head into the back, Ofelia yells for anybody that might be listening, let her through, get her some water.
Yeah, one of them sort of grabs a mug of ale. No, this isn't water. This won't do. Water
in the kitchen. Come on, and she pushes them through.
All of the thugs just look at each other like, "What is water?" For a second, yeah, and then in that sort of moment of complete incoherence, you guys push into the back room.
Looking around for a service exit.
The back room is, as you guessed, the storeroom and de facto kitchen of this particular establishment. And there, cowering in the back room, is the bartender, furiously trying to load a stack of coins that he has on the countertop into a rather large leather pouch. He's just pushing stacks and stacks of coins into leather pouches. And then as the four of you barge into this room, he looks at you and says, "Oi, what are you doing back here?"
I need air. How do you get out of here?
He will make an insight check.
I'm clutching my bloody arm.
So he will make it with disadvantage, seeing that bloody arm of yours. And he rolled a 6. So he immediately sort of like takes a couple steps towards you and then like remembers that he has a stack of coins on the counter and sort of like looks between your arm and the coins. Oh, shit. I'm definitely going to hell for this. And then just grabs the stack of coins and pushes a nearby wall, which swivels, and you feel a rush of air just come into the back room and says, out you go, come on, I don't want any trouble.
Thank you so much.
Good man, you've got a big heart. I'm going to tell all my friends to drink here.
Is there a clean-looking dish rag or anything like that lying around the kitchen?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Clean is a very sort of...
unused recently.
Ew. Doesn't that make it worse?
I know, right?
That's a 12.
You don't see any clean rags, but you see a whole bunch of soiled ones.
She'll grab one anyway to wrap around Hylan's arm as they head out.
Corbin would like to be the last one to leave, and he's going to look at that barman and go,
"Would you like to make a donation to the Church of Ilmata? To save your soul. You just said you were going to hell. I can save your soul. Donation."
And I hold out my big
Make a
hand.
persuasion check.
Oh, I'm so good at that. Oh, 15.
He looks at you, and maybe out of fear, maybe just a bit, as the fact is that you're this towering bugbear with these gleaming blue eyes, and he's obviously been caught in potentially something illicit. He sort of takes a single coin off the top of the stack and just sort of plops it in your palm and says, "You didn't see nothing."
Is that it? Is that your whole donation?
There is a tense silence, and then he takes another coin off the top of the stack and says, "2 bits. Now get the fuck out of here."
Your martyr thanks you.
And Corbin goes out.
All right.
Let's make for the Shrine of Suffering. Too many people on the street. It'll be closed and deserted this time of night. We can look over that scroll and talk about what we're going to do next.
Okay.
All right.
The Shrine of Suffering isn't too far from your current position. It's perhaps a quarter of a mile from the bar in which you currently are. So you are able to make it there within about 15 minutes.
Another beautiful night in Heapside. I uncork the bottle of wine that I stole from the inn and start drinking that.
I'm just going to hold out my arm as if to ask him to pour some on it.
Oh, yeah. I pour some on her arm and then pour some in my mouth.
Can I check her arm to make sure
Is
it's
wine
okay?
a disinfectant? I don't remember that.
Alcohol.
Yeah,
It's alcohol.
If the alcohol content's high enough, yeah.
I've never actually used wine on cuts, but
Yeah, stings a bit, but yeah.
You know, desperate times.
true. Whiskey, I understand. Wine, but hey, that works for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's none on offer.
It's what we had.
Yeah, it stings in that sort of nice way, Hylan.
Mhm.
And then, you sort of grasp the cut on your arm. And who wanted to inspect it? Someone I think I
Corbin.
heard wanted to inspect.
Corbin wanted to do a medicine check on this
Hylan, are
thing.
you allowing him to do so?
Yes.
Okay. You raise your hand.
Yeah, as he takes my arm, I say, sorry to fool you there. I was just trying to get us out.
What'd you get on that medicine check?
A 9. He sort of twists it around a little.
Yeah, it's a cut.
I think you're going to live.
Yeah, it's fine. I've done this before. I'll be fine.
You want the bleeding to stop. That's my professional advice.
Ophelia grabs the dish rag that she took out of her pocket and begins to wrap it around Hylan's wound.
Okay.
The cleanest one I could find.
Reticence wants to take a quick look around, see if it seems like anyone followed us from the tavern.
Make a perception check, please.
It's a 5. Looks like we got away scot-free.
Meanwhile, like, the city guard is just like standing there right over your shoulder.
Yeah. Close but no donut cops.
You don't notice anyone following you, but what you actually did notice on the way to the Shrine of Suffering is that there were people on the street going in the opposite direction. They were going sort of multiple people in groups of 2 and 3, running or walking very swiftly to the east, the opposite direction again of where you were heading.
What's to the east of us?
There is a very large exit or entrance to the city called the Basilisk Gate.
We see throngs of people coming through.
You don't see throngs of people coming through at all. You see multiple people heading in the direction of the Basilisk Gate, but nobody else coming in the opposite direction.
Like there are people who are currently inside the city. They're trying to get to the gate and leave.
Correct.
presumably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get to the shrine.
Okay. I'll say that you've made it to the shrine by that time. Yep.
Ophelia will then take the scroll out of her pocket and read it aloud quietly.
Okay.
I sort of usher everybody into the shrine. I do volunteer here in the sort of soup kitchen capacity. Since we can all see in the dark, I will not light any candles or anything to signify that anyone's come in here. I'll just shut the door behind us.
Fantastic.
This is also my church.
Wonderful. Ophelia, when you retrieve the scroll from this particular scroll case, go ahead and read that out loud to the party, please.
My friends, I hope that you all are well. As you may know, there is quite a little insurrection in our beloved city. The disturbing disappearance of our neighbor to the east, the great and powerful city of Elturel, has the good citizens of Baldur's Gate in a bit of a panic. Men, women, and children are attempting to flee the city in droves, assuming falsely that the fate of that shining exemplar of purity will be our own. I, and many like me, find this lack of faith in the power of our protectors to be quite disappointing. The Flaming Fist is without a leader, however, and a hydra without any heads cannot bite. Without the teeming populace, commerce within Baldur's Gate cannot flow and trade cannot prosper. Whilst the hydra grows its heads anew, I have a certain favor to call in to you all, in return for a favor recently asked of me. This night, go swiftly to the Basilisk Gate and ask for the captain of the Flaming Fist posted there. His name is Darman Zaj. He will have his hands quite full, I imagine, but with the right motivations should be able to attend to you. If all else fails, simply drop my name and he will be wrath, I assure you. Zaj has a need which I assume you'll be better equipped to handle than his men. We've worked well as a team and I doubt not should prove quite capable. But if not, then consider your deaths as fate's payment for the deed I've helped you keep hidden from the public eye. Good luck, and may the blessings of Baldur be upon you. Sincerely, Amric Van Thamper.
Amric Van Thamper.
He didn't waste any time calling in his debts, I see.
Wait, this guy knows our secret?
There is a sigh and a vast silence as all of you look at Corbin.
It was supposed to be just the four of us.
Try and keep up, sweetheart. Van Thamper helped us get rid of the goods. The body. The man we killed.
If we get caught, it can't go past me, okay? You got it?
Well, we're not going to get caught. Clearly, there's an obvious way for us to stay in his favor, and it's to do what he asks right now.
Whatever it is, it's going to be unpleasant.
I don't want to have to kill him, okay?
I don't think any of us should try to kill.
I promised you, Corbin. Stick with me and we won't get caught. Now, what's this about the Flaming Fist has got no leader? What about Duke Ravengard?
He's gone from the city. He went on some sort of diplomatic mission.
To Elturel.
Right.
And I assume he must have been there when the sun went black.
Let's hope not.
Why else wouldn't he have come back?
In any case, we got no choice but to do what Amric wants. He's got us under his thumb.
Corbin, we're more useful to him alive than dead, and that means it'll be kept secret, don't worry.
All right. I gotta leave some gold here.
And Corbin leaves, he got 2 from the guy, and he'll leave 2 more at the temple, so he'll leave 4.
Okay.
I leave the half a bottle of wine, too. That'll do someone some good as well.
It will.
I suppose we should head to the Basilisk Gate, then.
Yeah, no point in putting it off. I'd hope to be out of the city by dawn, but, Amric moves quickly.
I suppose we don't know where this will take us. We may yet get to leave.
Let's just do it and be done with it.
One more time in my head, I'm just going to say, what's happening? What's happening?
You hear, finally, after what seems like an eternity, the voice of Malitiam. Can you tell us what you feel Malitiam's voice sounds like? At least to you?
Malitiam's voice is a beautiful voice, a very strong voice. Their voice can sound very caring and sort of maternal, and sometimes their voice can be very strong and even sort of inhuman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about this? If you were to pick someone to cast as Malitiam,
yes.
Who would you cast?
Ooh, pick me.
Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton.
Love it.
Or me, and either one.
Okay, very cool. I'll do my best Tilda Swinton impression.
Oh, we can't get Tilda for this?
It wasn't in the budget. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm calling her people
Matt,
now. Just
all right.
give me a
Can
minute.
you
Season
do
2.
Yeah.
Andy doing Tilda Swinton?
Oh God, please no.
This is not in my contract. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to do such a thing. You hear the voice of Malitiam speak to you, Hylan, and in a tone of voice that you've not actually heard, it sounds more wavering, more concerned, actually, at least in the few words that the voice speaks to you, as it says, "We are unable to understand ourselves, but we fear the worst.
What should I do?
You must do what you think is right, of course, as you always have.
I won't let you down.
There is no response to that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm actually going to take a second here and move you guys to a map of Baldur's Gate.
Cool. Renascence will linger behind in the shrine after the other three have stepped out the door for a moment, and closes his eyes, and he places one hand on the altar, and he says, "It's been a while, but I do get tired of feeling like I'm talking to myself. So, crying God, if you are listening, I got him into this. I'm not asking you to help me. I know what I did, but it's my fault the rest of them are in it. So look out for them if you can." And I will head out, and I turn around and I say, "I don't know why I bother. Nobody ever answers." And I'll join the others on the street.
There we go.
So we're about an avenue block from a sort of main artery. Basilisk Gate is just on the northeast side of that artery. So we, with all haste, I assume, start making our way up the avenue.
Yes.
Okay. As you approach the Basilisk Gate, you start to hear sounds of a large number of people. Clearly, there is a commotion going on as you approach the Basilisk Gate. There are lights ahead of you as well. Torches, multiple torches and or lanterns that people are carrying, as it is quite plainly in the middle of the night. And most of these commoners are human. You do see here and there that there are people of different races and creeds and to some degree of status, but not very many. Most of them seem to be certainly lower middle class or merchant class, but many of them have enormous satchels on their back or backpacks. Some of them are carrying chests. No one actually is on a vehicle of any kind. There are no carts or anything like that, or horses or beasts of burden. It is literally just wall-to-wall people. But standing in front of this crowd of people is a line of soldiers that is arraigned directly in front of the Basilisk Gate. And we're talking flaming fist, at least 2 or 3 deep, that are standing at attention for all intents and purposes, with their hands holding maces or large clubs, and with shields, all emblazoned with the symbol of the flaming fist.
Are they blocking people from coming in or going out?
You look, and you do happen to see that the gate itself is closed. It's a massive iron gate, and arraigned around it, or around the frame of the door, are the reason why it's called the Basilisk Gate, all of these strange carvings that seem to depict either dragons or scaled creatures. You assume these are basilisks, although you yourself have never actually seen one.
Hells, it's just going to take all night. I touch my first 2 fingers to my Adam's apple and cast Thaumaturgy to make my voice boom up to 3 times as loud as usual. And at the top of my voice, I just bellow, "Damizaj!"
Corbin sees him do this, and he does the same exact thing.
Damizaj!
There is this just sort of
I
double...
elbow him and I...
Go ahead.
I elbow him, I say, "Darmir, it's Darmir. We don't want Darmin. I don't know who that is."
It's wait, what is it?
Damizaj!
Damizaj!
And like Ofelia quickly looks at the letter, and it actually is Darminzaj,
Yep.
and she's, I don't know, I mean, yeah.
Well, go on, we're casting a wide net.
Yeah, exactly.
You got wax in your ears.
I would go ahead and say, make a performance check with advantage. Let's see if your thaumaturgical voices.
This is Renascence doing... Oh, both of us. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Renascence, you actually did it first, so I'm going to go ahead and say you get advantage because both of you guys are doing it.
That is a 22.
Woohoo!
Your voice just booms out, and the crowd begins to silence a little bit. And because it is silent, you are able to hear 2 distinct voices towards the front of this group of people. There is a man who seems to be riling up the crowd. He's sort of walking back and forth, but as the crowd silences, you hear him start to sort of intone to the whole group. He says, "No more talking on't! Let it be done! Away, away! Elturel is fallen! Let it not befall us as well! And if they do not let us free, we shall show them the true power of the people! They say poor suitors have strong breaths. They shall know we have strong arms too!" And the first sort of line of people raises a cheer.
You think that's him?
I thought we were looking for someone from the Flaming Fist.
Oh, I don't know. Should we push through to the front?
Yeah.
All right. Ilmata guide you. And I touch Renaissance's shoulder and give him guidance. So if you want to push through.
How long does guidance last?
1 minute.
Okay.
I scan the crowd and see if you said there were some Flaming Fists standing guard at the gate?
Yeah, there's a line or two lines of Flaming Fist soldiers.
I'm looking for anyone that's in the uniform of an officer.
Make a perception check.
That is a 15.
You do happen to see there is a group of individuals, one whose back is turned to you, but you do see that he has a very long, flowing red cape. It's stained at the bottom, but no other soldiers seem to be wearing that particular garment. So you can only assume that he's probably maybe a leader of these soldiers.
I point to point him out to my companions, and I start to try to force my way towards him through the crowd.
Okay, go ahead and make a strength athletics check to see if you can actually push your way through the crowd.
Can I do an acrobatics instead by kind of like ducking and weaving rather than muscling through the crowd?
Well, I will try to clear enough
everyone.
of a path
Okay.
for everybody if I can. I did get a 16 on the check.
You have guidance on that.
Right.
Okay.
19.
With a 19, yeah, you feel sort of the crowd pushing back on you a little bit, and you feel for a second that you wouldn't be enough just by yourself or even with Corbin to push through. But then there's this sort of surge of energy that passes through you as Corbin touches his hand on your shoulder, and then the two of you as one push through to the front. Various commoners sort of complain and argue as, what's this about? I wash your hands. And then you get within viewing of this person who is essentially riling up the crowd. You see that he's got jowls and a shock of red hair and green eyes and awful dentistry. He sees the two of you coming through the crowd. He says, "Oh, what's this? Who are you?"
Zodge.
No, you're not Zodge.
No, we're looking for Zodge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you'll be looking for that piece of shit. And he says it really loudly. And as he does so, you notice that the person in the red cloak turns. And as he turns, you see that he has long, flowing hair that comes down over his shoulders. And he's wearing a leather eye patch. He sort of looks imperiously down upon you as you enter into this area. And the red-headed man turns towards who you assume to be Zodge and says, "Ah, yeah. Zodge doesn't care for us. He ne'er cared for us yet. He suffers us to famish, and the whole fucking Flaming Fist storehouses and all the patriarchs are crammed with grain. They repeal daily any wholesome act established against the rich and provide more piercing statuses daily to chain up and restrain us, the poor." And the crowd starts to cheer and surge forward. The soldiers drop a foot back and bring their shields up in readiness for what could very well be a massive battle between the two.
I sort of want to stand in front of the soldiers and face the crowd. I say, "People, some of you know me. Renaissance, hand resolute. You might have seen me at the Shrine of Suffering, or in Heapside, or the Lower City, or the Outer City if any of you ever make it that far. Listen, you're not wrong. There ain't much justice in Baldur's Gate. But you ain't going to get it here tonight. You're just going to get blood." I point to the spears. "You're just going to get killed. These men are scared. They got reason to be scared. You're right about the corruption. You're right about all of it. But I'm telling you now, you've got to stand down, or there's going to be a massacre here. Go back to your homes. The city's in no danger. What happened in Elturel, it ain't happening here. Look up. It's a sky full of stars.
There's a female voice that calls out from the crowd as you seemingly have just spoken them into a vast silence. And a female voice is, "You have no children! I know you! I've seen you at church! You have no children! What about me and my babies?"
I say, bring your babies to the shrine tomorrow. I'll see they're fed. I'll see they're sheltered.
A gruff voice peals out and says, "How should we trust you? We don't trust them. We don't trust the patriarchs. We've got to care for our own lives."
You're right not to trust them, but you can trust these. I sort of jostle the pike of the closest guard to me. They're not going to help you. They're not going to protect you, but they are going to stick you. You can't win here. There'll be another day, another time. Go home.
Corbin opens his cloak and shows his vestments of his church. And he's almost embarrassed to do this. And he kind of looks down and he goes,
Painbearer Corbin Shiv of the Church of Ilmata, and if anyone needs help or food, just go to the temple tomorrow and it will be there for you. I promise. I swear it on my God.
And then he kind of hides his face.
Okay. What are Hylan and Ofelia doing?
I'm just keeping an eye out for any sudden movements. I'm not going to become a focus here. I'm just watching.
Ofelia is going to try to see if she can get the attention of, oh my gosh, what's his name? The Dorman.
Out of the corner of my mouth, Zodge.
Zodge. Can she try to sort of like wave a hand in the air, or try to make her way perhaps a bit closer to him, try to catch his eye and signal to him?
Okay. So I'm going to ask, well, this is actually going to be kind of cool, because three people are doing three distinctly different things.
Can I change my mind about what I just said? Because I just remembered she has message. Can I just send him a message instead?
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Sure. What do you want to say? You say, "I'm so sorry."
I'm so sorry.
I'm so
sorry.
Do you like me? Yes, no, check the box.
Okay.
All of the above.
So she will send a message to Zodge, and it will say, "Zodge, we were sent to assist you. I'm not sure what to do or how to get to you. Can you reach us?"
Okay. You sort of notice Zodge's head perk up a little bit when you message him directly. Just from the perspective of the mechanics of this spell, can he message you back?
I believe he can, yes.
Okay. In your mind, you hear a very sort of silky voice, which you didn't expect considering someone who looks so rough around the edges. And he says, "I don't know who this is, but I would appreciate if you would show yourself before we engage in conversation. I don't like these kind of discussions."
Ofelia messages back. She says, "My name is Ofelia. We were sent by Mr. Van Thamford to help you. Were you not expecting a group of us?" And she does what I said before. Essentially, she raises just an arm up in the crowd and tries to make eye contact with him.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to ask the three of you to do, because these are essentially going on at the same time. I'm going to ask Corbin to make a persuasion check. I'm going to ask Ofelia to make a perception check. And I'm going to ask Renascence to make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Corbin got a 13. I don't know why I said that in his voice.
Renascence got a 10.
Okay.
Ofelia got a 21.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that the combination of all three checks, 2 successes and 1 failure. that will sway the crowd to the point, as well as gain Captain Zodge's attention, to the point where the red-headed man sort of looks and sees that he's losing support. And he sort of starts to sweat and look around, and he says, No, this can't be how it ends. No, we need to gain the power back that we've lost. We need to gain the power. And then you see a tomato thrown through the crowd and hit the red-headed man in the face. And everyone goes, Boo! Boo! We never believed in you anyway, you piece of crap! And like another, just a random vegetable. This one perhaps a turnip, which, God, those hurt.
That
Don't
would hurt.
ever get a turnip.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just hits him right in the nards. And he's, and he staggers, falls to his knees, and lies on the ground. And you see just barely, Ofelia, as you're looking around at Zodge, the line of flaming fist soldiers sort of smirk at each other and step forward towards the red-headed man. Do any of you guys do anything about that?
Corbin immediately stands in front of the man who's down on the ground and turns to the soldiers.
I want to run up to the guy who's down and try to drag him to his feet.
Okay. I would say that you're right next to each other, Corbin and Renascence. So he doesn't resist, so you can grab him by his arms and pull him to his feet. The flaming fist soldiers sort of look at you with a grimace of disappointment and, get back in line.
I get right in his ear and I say, you better start running. You're going to finish up the night in Blackgate Prison.
Oh, I can't feel my little bits. I can't feel them.
Ah, hells. I lay on hands for 1 hit point.
Okay. It's called lay on hands for a reason. So yeah, he sort of stiffens up for a second. Oh.
No, he doesn't stiffen.
Okay. And then he gets to his feet. He sort of like pulls his arms out from your individual grapples. He says, I think I can walk now. I think I can walk now. Just stop throwing things at me. The crowd begins to boo even more heavily. You see a rock thrown. This individual sort of dodges it and just, fuck! And he just runs in the opposite direction.
You're welcome.
And the crowd
begins to disperse. A mutual acquaintance asked us to come here and chat with you.
Hopping down from his place amongst the soldiers, his cloak flowing imperiously around him, the individual who you assume his name is Captain Darman Zodge comes up to you, Corbin, and you, Renascence, since you are essentially in between him and the rest of the crowd, and says, that was an interesting show. Not necessarily the way I would have preferred it end, but c'est la vie. Someone seemed to get in here, and he points to his head and says, amongst you, I assume? Perhaps a friend?
Ofelia gestures, gives a little wave. Was me. I didn't mean any disrespect.
He says nothing at this. So I have only the 4 of you to attend to this, yes?
I smile and I say, Zodge, that's all you need, mate.
He sighs heavily and says, I guess it'll have to do. Please, this way. And he gestures, perhaps a little over grandly, past the line of soldiers to a small tent, which lies pretty much directly to the east, about 30 or 40 paces, but before the gate itself.
Yeah, we'll follow him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He ducks inside the tent, and you see that there is a table inside with multiple maps laid upon it, all of which are of Baldur's Gate and its environs. You see various scribblings on the map itself and small miniature, almost like chess pieces sort of placed around the map itself, perhaps indicators of actions or presences within Baldur's Gate. He says, unfortunately, I have no chairs, so I'm afraid you'll have to stand.
All right.
We won't be staying long. Just get to the point.
Very well. Like you already. As you already know, the refugee, and he says it with a hint of scorn, crisis, has stoked fears that Baldur's Gate might suffer the same fate as our neighbour to the east, Elturel. Of which...
Is it true what they're saying? The whole city's just gone.
Oh yes, nothing remains of that place but a hole in the ground, apparently.
I exchanged glances with Hylan.
What kind of hole?
I myself have not been witness to it, so I cannot say, but from what I understand of the refugees fleeing that particular place, a rather sizable one.
What is it you need?
The more important thing is, what is it that Baldur's Gate needs? And he sort of gestures with open arms and says, as you very well know, the Flaming Fist's leader, our Grand Duke, Alder Ravengard, was visiting Elturel on a diplomatic mission when the city was clearly destroyed. Coincidence? I think not. The Knights of Elturgard, and he spits on the ground, who call themselves Hell Riders, well, a few of them escaped the destruction and think that we're somehow to blame for Elturel's downfall.
Are you?
Of course not. Hell Riders. Bunch of self-righteous rabble-rousers. We're arresting them on sight, of course, but that's left us short-handed to deal with my problem, of which the four of you seem to be attending to. And for that, of course, I wish you to understand that what I say is to be taken in the strictest confidence.
Do I know anything about these people, the Hell Riders that he's mentioned?
Make a history check.
Not my strong suit. 10.
You've heard the name? The Hell Riders are famous enough to know that they are a group of guardsmen who have taken the responsibility of maintaining the safety and security of Elturel, the city itself. They are sort of shining paragons of goodness, justice, and light. You know, the old Knights of the Round Table of yore. They're called the Hell Riders? Something to do with hell, clearly, but why they're called the Hell Riders, you're not quite sure.
I turn to my friends and I say, so, for those of you who haven't heard, the Hell Riders are sort of what this lot pretends to be, so you can understand why they'd resent them.
Corbin has studied history. Does he know these?
Make a
Hell
history
Riders?
check.
3.
With a 3...
He skipped that day.
Maybe you studied. I was going to say maybe you just studied you studied the wrong book. You thought it was like
the Heck Riders.
Yeah, it was a crit fail too. So
yeah, definitely. It's on the tip of your tongue, but your tongue is safely and securely inside your mouth. So unfortunately, Zaj says, "Do I have your confidence?"
I think you know that you do.
Of course.
On account of our mutual friend.
Oh, yes, of course. How is our dear Amric?
Sparkling. Get to the point.
Well, and he points at the map of Baldur's Gate and sort of spreads his hand across it, and he says, our fair city, Baldur's Gate, has long been plagued by followers of the Dead Three, the gods Bane, Baal, and Myrkul. Now, I thought we had wiped them out, of course, but apparently not. These purveyors of fear and death are taking advantage of the current crisis to commit murder sprees throughout the city. Seeing you now, I don't expect you four to know much firsthand about this sort of thing, but I expect that to change quickly once you've done the deed. As my appointed deputies in this matter, you'll have license to kill these wretches on sight. I appoint you, therefore, to find their lair and wipe it out. Eliminate anyone who gets in your way, and, he smiles, don't worry about collateral damage. If you do what I say, I'll see that each of you receive 200 gold pieces, in addition to my gratitude, which is worth considerably more.
It's a big city. I assume you've got some leads.
Oh, yes, of course. A few blocks from the Basilisk Gate is the Elf Song Tavern. A spy named Tarina hangs out there gathering rumors for the guild. She owes me a favor, so when you arrive, tell her you work for me. Ask her what she knows about the dead three. And for the love of Baldur, be nice. Tarina has dangerous friends.
What does she look like? Don't want to be tapping everyone in the inn on the shoulder.
He says, oh, you'll know her when you see her. She has a, what's the word? Penchant, I believe is what the elves say, for gambling.
Do I know who she is with my guild dealings?
I'm going to go ahead and say make a history check.
Okay.
I turn to Corbin and I say, I don't speak Elvish, but the woman plays cards, apparently.
I don't speak Elvish either, but I don't know what Pinocchio is either. His cards. Okay, got it.
Plays cards.
I got a 21.
Okay. With a 21, you know of this Tarina. She goes by several different pseudonyms and aliases. Tarina is certainly one of them. You're not quite sure about the others, but you know that she's a pirate. She was serving under someone, you think his name was sort of Captain Sesprin, for months at least. And then you sort of remember vaguely she might have stolen something from other pirates and then disappeared.
Right, Elf Song Tavern. Tarina she's a penchant gambler.
She likes cards.
She likes cards. We got that. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I got one thing. How do you pronounce your first name? Is it Darwin or Darmin or what is it? Zodge.
He just stares at you, like into your soul, and I'd like you to make an insight check, please.
That would be a 16.
He wants you to get the fuck out of his sight.
Do I have the sense that the mission he's given us is on the up and up?
As in, he's not hiding anything, or he's telling you lies about it?
Yeah, or is he lying to us?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
A 16.
You don't sense any deception or lying or prevarication or anything like that. He seems to be pretty straightforward about it. But he does happen to have a sort of nervous tick about him that whenever you guys sort of give him a little bit of guff, he just sort of doesn't even know what to say almost. Maybe that hides something. You're not quite sure.
I say, you look tired, Zodge. Don't worry. We're going to take care of your little problem for you. We'll see you real soon.
Before we leave, Corbin would like to touch himself and say,
Jesus.
No, slow down. Not on his little bits.
Hey,
like the other guy.
It's that kind of podcast? What is going on
and
here?
just give himself guidance. As he bless me. And he'll look at Zodge and say,
Be nice to these downtrodden people. They need your help, not your blades. Ilmata will look poorly upon you if you harm them.
He takes a step back, and I'd like you to make an intimidation check, please.
All right, -1. Here we go. Ooh. So I rolled an 8. I got an 18 plus 2 is a 20. Dirty 20.
Oh.
He takes a step back, and you see a bead of sweat start to come down off of his flowing locks, and he quickly notices it and brushes it away and says, yes, of course, the people. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Ilmata. Bless you.
And I cross my palms across my chest so he sees both my hands are white, just like my god symbol, and I leave.
We're going to follow his directions to the elf song.
Okay.
As we're walking, I say, Corbin, how did you do that trick?
What trick? I don't do tricks.
Well, I was never going to make it through that crowd, and then I sort of did. It was like something was guiding me, and that's because of something you did.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me. It was Ilmata will bless you and guide you. At times, if I know you're going to try something, I can hopefully guide you a bit and help you with his power, not mine, his power. He's a good god.
Ilmata does that, the crying god?
Yes, he's my god.
Can you teach me like the ritual Like how you get him to help you?
Um,
Because what if you're not there and I, want to do something?
well, I've been praying for about 10 years, so yeah,
Right.
I can teach you, but it will take time.
Well, I'm always ready to learn.
I like that.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe and visit cast-party.com for artwork and more. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode of Podcast Party Descent into Avernus.
Damizod!